Welcome to Jimmy Bowen and Friends. Each week's episode features Jimmy Bowen and a special guest like T. Graham Brown, Deborah Allen, Becky Buller, and more. Today's special guest is Nosey Flynn. Now, here's Jimmy Bowen.
Well, thank you, folks, and welcome to the show this evening. Thanks for you guys being with us tonight and also out there who are streaming and also watching us via the television. We so appreciate you tonight. We're going to have a good night of music. We're going to kind of mix it with a little Amerigrass, bluegrass, with some Irish music. I've got some special friends with us tonight. I know you're going to certainly enjoy them. Nosey Flynn, Irish trio. They are wonderful. You guys are going to enjoy them. We're going to bring them right on here in just a few minutes. Once we take a little break from our sponsors, we'll be right back.
There's more Jimmy Bowen and Friends coming up right after this short break. Welcome back to Jimmy Bowen and Friends.
Well, thank you, folks, and welcome back to the show. Our guest tonight is a special treat. We are doing kind of a variety of music, and I've always wanted to get this gentleman. I wanted to get him on first season. Now we've got him on the second season, and I'm looking forward to this. I've known him for the last couple of years, enjoy his music, and he's Irish. We got to love Irish. Y'all give Irish a big hand. I'm loving this. This is going to be great. If you would make welcome, Nosey Flynn.
There you go. How are you there,
Sean,
Jimmy?
you doing all right, my friend?
I am wonderful. Thank you, Jimmy. How are you?
It's a pleasure to have you with us
We're
tonight.
honored. Thank
This
you.
is going to be fun. I'm going to love this. Listen, let me ask you something. Tell me a little about your family and how music has influenced you guys.
Well, you know, it's funny. Family is everything, right? And so it starts with the family for inspiration for music. And, you know, I moved here, didn't know anybody, and then I met my wife, Paula, and we've been married 21 years. And, you know, we have 4 great kids, and, man, nothing will motivate you better than family.
Oh, I know.
You know what I mean?
Yes, that's true. That's true. Well, when did you come to Nashville?
I moved here in 1995. It was the 1st of March. It was a Wednesday. I got hired at Mulligan's on the 3rd. 2 days later, that was my next step.
Irish pub.
Yes, sir.
Yes, remember that very vividly.
It was a fortuitous moment.
Now you were a bartender there? Is that what you did?
I started
there?
as a server. I started as a server, and then I was a bar back, and then I bartended. And I got hired 2 weeks before St. Patrick's Day, and I learned very quickly that I would much rather be on stage. And so it took me about a year, and I learned, actually, that's a whole other story. But yeah, I started down there and spent 10 years working downtown there at Mulligan's.
So you actually played down at Mulligan's?
I did. I played there with Tony Lyons and Jake Mayer, who were the proprietors. That's where I learned my craft. I learned my craft of performing and my craft of talking, and also the science of sound and the ability to entertain and all that other stuff.
Yeah. Well, that's great, my man. Well, tell us about Moonshine in the Basement. Tell us about this song.
Well, I moved here to write songs, as I'm sure you know, and I've made a living singing the Irish songs, and obviously there's some drinking songs in the Irish tradition, well, along with immigration and love songs and gypsy songs and everything else. But yes. This song kind of spoke to me one afternoon, and I've been writing it for years, but I've rewritten it here recently, and it seems to be kind of catching on a little bit. So I'm excited. It's called Moonshine in the Basement.
Well, that's good. Ladies and gentlemen, Nosey Flynn.
In the backwoods of Kentucky is my dear sweet home, sweetest little place that I've ever known. A bedroom and a kitchen and a well-used fireplace, a third-generation family stew down in the cellar space. Moonshine, silverware lightning in the evening. Moonshine, front porch picking peacefully to feeling. Yeah, it's the only home I've ever known. There is no replacement. Yeah, 'cause the sun may shine on old Kentucky home, but the moon shines in the basement. I remember being young, standing by my daddy's side, watching him pick the corn with a practiced eye. When he passed away, he rode in the wheel. You finally got the recipe, take care of the family still. Moonshine, silverware lightning in the evening. Moonshine, it's the only home I've ever known. There is no replacement. Yeah, 'cause the sun may shine on my old Kentucky home, but the moon shines in the basement. Where there are many of us left, most have moved away. The numbers seem to dwindle with each passing day. But a few will never leave and will never be alone. As long as the moon is shining, this house will be my home. Moonshine, silhouette lightning in the east. Moonshine, front porch looking peaceful, easy feeling, yeah. It's the only home I've ever known. There is no replacement, yeah, 'cause the sun may shine on my old Kentucky home, but the moon shines in the basement. Yeah, the sun may shine on my old Kentucky home, but the moon shines in the basement. Yeah, 'cause the sun may shine on my old Kentucky home, but the moon shines in the basement. Thank you.
Don't go away. Jimmy Bowen and friends will be right back. Welcome back to Jimmy Bowen and Friends.
Sean, that's cool. That was amazing.
Thank you.
I'm loving, and you wrote that.
I did write that, yeah. That's one of mine. I wrote it by myself.
Man, I love your voice on that, man. It's
Thank you.
bluesy and got the touch of the Irish in it, kind of a little blues thing happening.
It's been a long
journey. Is that kind of the way
journey.
you wanted it to
Yeah,
sound?
it is. It's a funny thing. You know, I've played over 6,000 gigs in Nashville since I moved here in '95, doing the Irish music. And so I've gotten all this time on stage, but I moved here to write songs. And so I think you can't have all those years playing all the Irish stuff and not have it kind of seep into what you're doing, but there's a nice little hybrid there. And country music comes from Irish music anyway.
Right.
So it's kind of a full circle,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Well, now, speaking of the writing, that's what brought you to Nashville originally, right?
That's correct, yes,
To
sir.
write. And are you doing a lot of that now?
I am now.
I know you've got a lot of things going on outside, too.
Yeah.
We got to plug your restaurant,
Yeah.
man.
Well,
the
it's-
Scottish eggs are to die for.
Yeah,
okay?
it's a funny thing. I run a dual life. You know, I'm Sean Patrick McNamara, which is my given name. That's how I go at the pub. And then
Yeah.
But I was born on Thanksgiving, so my nickname is Turk. And so when I write songs, I go by Turk McNamara, and when I play Irish music, I go by Sean Patrick McNamara, and it allows me to kind of compartmentalize. But alter egos are great.
Yeah,
I highly recommend everybody have at least one. It's
Yeah,
great.
at least one of them. Well, in your songs, we're saying that we're talking about moonshine.
Yeah, you can thank the Irish for that too.
Now we're talking about, the next one we're talking about whiskey.
That's correct.
So tell us a little bit about the song Whiskey in a Jar. Now, I have played it numerous times with other affiliations that I've been with. And
Oh, it's probably the most famous Irish pub song
it's
of all
got to
time.
be. Yeah,
Absolutely.
It's got to be.
Yeah.
So, but can you tell us a little bit about the song? And
It incorporates that classic narrative of robbery, deceit, alcohol, and capture. And
great
in
songs
one fell
of the
swoop.
world. Yes.
But it's a staple of the Irish pub tradition, and it's just a great old song, you know. The Irish word for whiskey is Ishkabaha, which means the water of life, which kind of explains why it's such a happy song. It's a true story.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, hope you enjoy it. Nosey Flynn with
Thank
Whiskey in a Jar.
Thank you. As I was going over the Cork Kerry Mountains, I met Captain Farrell and his money he was counting. First produced my pistol, then I pulled my rapier. Said, stand and deliver, for you are the bold deceiver. Mushering with a doom with a dawn. Whack for the daddy-o, whack for the daddy-o. There's whiskey in the jar. But as the money finished counting, it made a pretty penny. I put it in my pocket, took it home to my Jenny. She sighed and she swore she never would deceive me. But the devil take the woman, for they never can be easy. Mushering with the doom of the dawn. Whack for the daddy-o, whack for the daddy-o. There's whiskey in the jar. But I went to my chamber to try and get some slumber. I drummed the golden jewels, and you know it wasn't no wonder. Jenny took my charges, filled them up with water, told Captain Farrell to be ready for the slaughter. Mushering with the doom of the night. Whack for the daddy-o, whack for the daddy-o, there's whiskey in the jar. Well, it was early the next morning, before I rose to travel. Along came Colonel Park, and then with him was Captain Farrell. I pulled out my pistol, for Jenny took my rapier, but I couldn't shoot the charges, and the prisoner I was taken. Mushering with the doom of the night. Whack for the daddy-o, whack for the daddy-o, there's whiskey in the jar. If I could just reach my brother, stationed in the army, perhaps down in Cork or maybe in Killarney, sure that he'd join me. We'd roam throughout Kilkenny. He'd treat me far sight better than my own beloved Jenny. Mushering with the doom of the night. Whack for the daddy-o, whack for the daddy-o, there's whiskey in the jar. Mushering with the doom of the night. Whack for the daddy-o, whack for the daddy-o, there's whiskey in the jar. Very much, Miss Sarah Wolfong, Mr. Josh Cully, and Dirk McNamara. Thank you.
We'll be back with more Jimmy Bowen and Friends in just a moment. Welcome back to Jimmy Bowen and Friends.
Well, thank you, folks. We do appreciate you guys tonight. And what about Nosey Flynn? Give them another round of. I love the Irish music. They are wonderful. And we hope to have them back on the show sometime. I really do. We're going to say goodnight to you on this one. We're going to do a little bluegrass tune for you. We did a bluegrass rendition of this song on an earlier CD, and we thought we'd do it again tonight and add a little bit of steel and electric and all kind of cool stuff. So we hope that you enjoy it. We're going to say goodnight to you. Thank you so much for joining in with us, all of those out there and in the TV world and streaming. We do so appreciate you so much and look forward to seeing you on the next show.
More than anyone will ever know. But today you found a new love, and you said I had to go. Oh, the road is rough. and share the love that we once knew. Oh, the road is rough and rocky since the day I saw you. But there's one in your heart forever, and I'm lost without you. My hope is now that you'll be happy